Welcome to Illuvision.
Black Africans in Greek myth constellations. The title of this video is to avoid confusion with the generally lighter brown Africans of North Africa. In this episode, we take a look at what is for some the surprising and often overlooked presence of black Africans in Greek mythology. Here we take a look specifically at constellations that still exist in our night sky today, based on the stories of black Africans in Greek mythology. The constellation Andromeda. Andromeda was a legendary princess of the Ethiopian. She was extremely beautiful and, surprisingly, she was black. You can be forgiven if you didn't know this, as throughout history, Andromeda has been portrayed as white over many centuries, and in art and even in recent movies. Check out our episode on Africans in Greek mythology for more analysis and evidence on this and the story of Andromeda. Andromeda's homeland was Ethiopia, and the people of this land of Ethiopia were described by the Greek historian Herodotus as a black African and the population south of Egypt, and what is effectively modern-day Sudan. Another ancient Greek historian, Diodorus Siculus, described the population as having dark skin, flat noses, and wool-like hair, just so there's no confusion as to the characteristics and race of the Ethiopians. The queen of this land and Andromeda's mother, Cassiopeia, boasted that her daughter Andromeda was more beautiful than the Nereids. These were sea nymphs, and being of the sea, the god of the sea Poseidon was furious. He set a sea monster upon the land of Ethiopia. The only way to save this land was to sacrifice Andromeda, who was chained to a rock, set out as food for this sea monster. Luckily, the great hero Perseus came along just in time to save her. And not only did he save her, but he fell in love with her. Ovid states that the dark Andromeda, with the color of her native land, was beautiful to Perseus. It was a great love story, and one of few with a happy ending in Greek mythology. Having been saved, Andromeda and Perseus married, and she became his queen. The story resonated so deeply in Greek mythology that many of the characters in the narrative are constellations. But when Andromeda eventually dies, the goddess Athena honored her by placing her in a constellation, Andromeda, in the sky we see today. The constellation Cassiopeia. As mentioned, Cassiopeia was the mother of Andromeda and queen of the Ethiopians, who unwisely claimed that her daughter was more beautiful than the Nereids, provoking the anger of the god of the sea, Poseidon. We know what happened next, and that she became Perseus's mother-in-law. Like her daughter, Cassiopeia is also placed among the stars and portrayed as sitting on her throne. But because of her bragging about her daughter's beauty and her lack of respect for the god Poseidon, she is positioned upside down, as Hyginus states, carried head downwards as the sky revolved. Still, a heavenly celestial being she became for eternity, the constellation Cassiopeia. The constellation Cepheus. Cepheus was the king of the Ethiopians. After his dear wife Cassiopeia infuriated the god Poseidon, who set a sea monster upon the land, Cepheus had to appease his unhappy citizens and save his kingdom. Cepheus was advised that the only way to stop this terror was to tie Andromeda to a rock, sacrificing her and so saving Ethiopia. We know that Perseus came along and saved Andromeda, and that Cassiopeia and Cepheus allowed their daughter to marry him and leave with Perseus, but that left Cepheus with no heir to the throne. Huh? Obviously, Andromeda forgave her father for the whole chaining to the rock episode, as she and Perseus left their firstborn child, a son named Perses, but Cepheus in Ethiopia to rule over the kingdom. One big happy family, and as Eratosthenes states, at the will of Athena, Cepheus too was placed among the constellations, so that the entire family should remain united forever. These astronomical narratives, immortalized in the night sky we still see today, offers a poignant reflection on the often overlooked representation of blacks in ancient Greek narratives. Furthermore, the constellation Cassiopeia serves as a celestial reminder of the dire consequences of hubris. Yeah, don't brag, as you might be faced with divine retribution. Together, these constellations not only tell of love, sacrifice, and forgiveness, but also shed light on the overlooked presence of blacks in Greek mythology, offering a richer and more inclusive understanding of these ancient narratives.
Hey, check out our YouTube channel at Greek Mythology-Illusion, where we bring these stories to life with detailed images. With content derived solely from ancient sources, we take a fresher, deeper look at Greek mythology. More insight, no padding. Entertaining and educational. Looking for more? Access our mobile apps at www.greekmyths.info. Enjoy your mythological journey.